Hello, I am Jane Jennings Dunlap, and I am an assistant clinical professor at Texas Women's University College of Nursing, and also the director of social media for the Journal for Nurse Practitioners. I have with me today my co-author, Dr. Julie Waldrop, who is an assistant dean at Duke University School of Nursing and also the director of the Doctor of Nursing Practice program. Julie and I are going to interview each other briefly today and discuss our recent article for publication in Advances in Nursing Science.
Thank you, Jane. I'll start with the first question. What critical barrier to progress, for example, nursing science or nursing practice, does our study address?
So our study addresses the way that nurses are able to access and interact with article contents via social media. So the way that nurses are accessing these articles are changing. Not everyone has equal access to journal contents, as you know. And so some people will receive a publication in the mail, some don't. And so social media is a viable way that articles can be shared in a virtual environment. But not everyone has that access to the journal itself. Most nurses need a link to a professional organization to be able to get access to many journals.
Thank you.
So Julie, what new information do the results of our study present?
So in a prior study, we identified that about 38% of nursing journals had at least one social media channel. And in this study, we looked at the use and the management of social media by nursing journals. And the new role of the social media editor itself is acknowledged by about 50% of those journals that do have social media applications. Social media can be considered an innovation in journal content dissemination, and our results demonstrate that nursing journals and their editors are still in the early majority, but moving towards the tipping point of using social media as a more mainstream vehicle for dissemination and engagement in both research and clinical practice spheres. Now, what do you, Jane, think is the clinical relevance or importance of the findings of our study, and how could you apply these results clinically? And are there some barriers that might prevent you from being able to do so?
Yes, so one notable barrier is the lack of full article access. So there's subscription walls in place. Our study found that roughly 27% of all links posted were available for full article open access. And then an additional 28.6% were only available temporarily, which brings the total to just over half. So that means that just under half of all articles that are posted only have an abstract or do not have full article access, which can be frustrating and can prevent access to information that does have clinical relevance across clinical settings. And so as nurse educators who have recently pivoted to a virtual environment via the pandemic, we want to challenge nursing editors and publishers, as gatekeepers and leaders in the nursing profession to try to make articles more available for full article access so that the clinical implications can grow or have an opportunity to grow over time.
Wonderful.
And so, Julie, what future directions for research do you foresee based on these findings?
Well, for Jane and myself, we're excited about a couple things. We have a manuscript in progress on best practices for social media use for nurse editors, authors, and readers. But more broadly speaking, there really is still limited evidence published on the impact of social media use for and by nursing journals. So we are planning to introduce another social media channel at our journal based on our readers' preferences, and then evaluate its impact using altmetrics. And we hope our work will inspire others to study this topic too, so that we as a profession can clearly demonstrate what aspects of social media use make the biggest impact on reader engagement.
And Julie, is there any way that you would want to challenge viewers of this video?
Yes, we would like to challenge any listeners or readers out there to start following your favorite nursing journal or journals on your social media application of choice. And if the nursing journal that does not have a social media application or the channel you use, then we encourage you to let the editor know that you would like them to consider using social media so that you can more easily keep up with what is being published in your area of interest.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank Jane.